Hi everyone, it's me, Krylios, Team Racing Productions MC and producer. And my guest for today is Myles Powell from 8 Miles. And so we're gonna have Myles here to tell us all a little bit about 8 Miles. Welcome, Myles Powell. Hello, Myles.
How you doing today?
Pretty good, pretty good. Thanks so much for joining us. A pleasure to have you here.
Pleasure to be here.
Awesome, awesome. Now, let's begin with telling our audience a little bit about 8 Miles.
Sure. So I'm Myles. I'm the CEO and founder of 8 Miles. We are a producer of gourmet mac and cheese. We're based in the DMV area. We actually started out making barbecue sauces back in 2015, and my love of comfort food kind of helped me elevate the business into focusing on the comfort food realm and mac and cheese being a staple item. I wanted to bring that passion that I have for soul food, comfort food to the market.
I love that. I love that. Tell me, Miles, how did you come up with the name? I get a part of it is from your name, but tell me about coming up with the concept for the name.
You know, it's funny. A lot of people ask me, "Hey, are you from Detroit?" And it's like, no, I'm from Philly, but I like the movie, and maybe that had a part of it because it's that movie and a lot of movies like it's a story
Yes.
coming up and things like that. And so when I came up with the name kind of out of the blue, it was catchy, and I decided at the time that I wanted to make 8 different barbecue sauces to coincide with the name. Um, that has, of course, changed because now I'm doing mac and cheese, but I'm keeping the name because it is catchy, and it kind of symbolizes my whole journey.
I like that. I like that. When I first saw it as well, I thought I was like, wait, the movie? And then I was like, okay, that's nice. That's nice. So tell me, Miles, we're in a very unprecedented time right now, and you're the owner of a business, and and it's a line of mac and cheeses. Tell me how you've had to adapt during this time, because I'm sure, there must have been a few challenges that kind of, at the outset.
Yeah, things. It's funny. I'm going to remember this forever because this shifted the company dramatically in a
Mhm.
couple of ways. The first being one of the ways that I used to market our mac and cheese was through in-store demos.
Wow.
And because of COVID, obviously they shut down all demos. And so I had to pivot and figure out how am I going to market my product in stores. And so one way in which I'm focusing on now is merchandising, where I actually hired someone to go store to store and work with the buyers to make sure that our mac and cheese is stocked properly, it's reordered when it's needed, etc. And that also helps raise brand awareness because you're always making sure that your product is in a great spot on the shelf. So that was an adjustment that I needed to make. On the flip side, because of COVID, we were able to work with Target. I was in some local Targets for about 5 weeks during a trial period, and now I am under a full review for a launch into 250 Target stores, and that's because of COVID. So it's been a wild ride, and it hasn't been all bad, which is great.
Yes, yes, yes. That's good to hear. It's always good to hear. Some positive from, even with all the negatives going on, it's really, really always good to hear some positives. And I know that for many people, this has, been a time for them to introspect and, look inside, and also to refocus
Right.
and, create some, create things anew, or find a new way of doing things during, and
Exactly.
that's definitely a positive thing, I say, that
Yeah.
comes out from this. Um, I wanted to add that, here at Team Racing, before the pandemic started, we were doing a mukbang series, and then we had to kind of shut that down as the pandemic began. But I would love if at some point we're able to like team up with you and do something with the mukbang with some of 8 Miles mac and
Yeah.
cheeses. Yes, hopefully before the end of the year or at the beginning of next year, we'll get that going. So that would be really,
Definitely.
really
I'm
great.
I'm all for that.
Lovely, lovely. Thanks so much. Tell me, you're an entrepreneur. Do you have, any words of wisdom out there for, young people who are of that entrepreneurial mindset?
Yeah, I mean, I've got a lot. I've been doing this now for 5+ years, and so I've learned a lot. Not even from just the industry itself, but just the mindset behind this kind of business.
Mhm.
It takes perseverance. I know me personally, I am always fascinated with what we are recognizing as like overnight success. These brands that kind of blow up, and then all of a sudden that's all you hear about. But what a lot of people don't realize is that for years prior, there was so much hustle and grind to get to that point. So it's not really overnight success. It just happened to just hit that point where things, flipped and turned into high gear. So especially in the industry where you're not 100% familiar with, you need to be prepared to make mistakes, and even have major setbacks. But that's not a reason to give up. So, I mean, I can pinpoint along this 5 years where I made pretty critical errors, but keeping that goal in sight and knowing that you're doing this for a reason is going to help you to keep and propel you forward. Um, and with that being said, it's like, don't be afraid of those mistakes, because no matter how much you prepare, it's going to happen. I mean, we all hope not, but it's almost, I've been telling people that running a small business is like playing whack-a-mole, because like everything's quiet, you think everything's under control, and all of a sudden these things pop up and you have to scramble to take care of them or fix an issue. But it all helps you learn. It makes you well-rounded, and it prepares you for future obstacles that you might face.
Wow, wow, wow. Thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you so much for that. You know, I will say your social media game is very, very strong. I was on the Instagram, just looking through before the interview and seeing all of the mac and cheese. I literally had to stop what I was doing because here's the thing: we made mac and cheese here last night, nice, baby, beautiful. I had to go into the fridge and get some. Like I got so hungry going down that, and you have one thing posted that says like, wouldn't you love coming home from work and like having different? And I'm like, oh my
Yeah.
god, like this is how you get us. Like this is how you get us. Tell me what it was like, especially now during this time where social media is so strong, how important it is to have, strong social media presence in this day and age and in this time while running a small business.
Oh, it's critical, especially as a food item, because food is such a visual. I mean, you eat with your eyes first, and you need to make an impact on social media, because a lot of if you see something on, let's say, Instagram,
Mhm.
that image might stick in your head. Next time you're in the market, you might make that connection, say, oh, this is what I saw and it was amazing, I want to buy some. um and now you have like with situations where you can buy online, so the time it takes to connect the purchase to seeing the ad is
Yes.
shrinking. And to be honest, I'm still working on the social media side. I admire a lot of companies who do it extremely well. I sort of feel like I've just started to get my ground over the past 3 to 4 months, but still not quite where I wanted to be yet. And I also realized too is the best social media accounts speak to the brand itself and the person behind the brand, and not just the product.
Yeah.
Because if
Yeah.
it's just a product, it seems like a spam or commercial. But if
Hmm.
you tie it to a message or to a
Yes.
feeling, then you're going to have some success.
Definitely, definitely. And speaking of success, could you allow our viewers to know where they can find 8 Miles, how they can get access to 8 Miles online, in stores, and everything, and how they can follow you and keep up with you?
For sure, for sure. So 8 Miles, we are now in Whole Foods, about 22 locations, really centered in Delaware, I'm sorry, Virginia, DC, and Maryland. We're also in Kings and Balducci's, and they expand up to the New York area, New Jersey, and Virginia, and a bunch of other, a lot of other accounts in the DMV area. I have a full map that's on my website. The website is 8miles.com. And as we continue to pick up new locations, I try to announce those too. And that's via social media on Instagram, which is at 8 Miles LLC. And then Facebook as well is facebook.com/8 Miles LLC.
Thank you so much, Miles. And our viewers, that all that information will be in the description below. Miles, thank you so much for joining me today. It has been such a pleasure.
For sure. It's been a pleasure, and thank you for the invite. I love doing things like this.
Of course, our pleasure here. And to our viewers, thank you guys for watching. Bye, everyone.
Take care.
Take care.